Hello everyone and welcome back to another video. As always, thank you for tuning in. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Enjoy. Now, I want to start this video by addressing one of the comments in the previous video. It's from a guy called Stephen Spry, and he's a fellow Transport Fever 2 YouTuber, so I think it's going to be a pretty good piece of advice. Now, in the last episode, we introduced this new truck line just to connect the harbour here with the train line, just because the train station itself wasn't actually in range. As you can see, it's not highlighting. Now, Stephen's suggestion is to edit this train station and actually put a cargo building nearer the end of this station where it will connect to the road. And hopefully, by doing that, if we highlight the train station, you can now in fact see that it is connecting to the train station with the lines here. So what that means is we don't need this line. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to quickly pause the video while we get rid of all of this existing infrastructure. Now, I think it's probably important to manage these vehicles. We'll get rid of those first. We'll sell those off before we get rid of the line. Now, it looks like I did actually forget to go around and rename that line, so it's still called line 1. But it is no more anyway, so there's no problem there. We don't need the truck stops at either end, so we can get rid of those. And then also, if we're going to rejig this and put a cargo thing at the end, I'd like to improve this road system as well. So I think going from there, we will just get all of this deleted. And then with the station, I would like to actually add in just a little bit of a grander building at the end there. And then we need some country road. I'll reconnect what we've just deleted, just to try and make it look a bit smoother. We'll go straight across the front. And then I want to try and bring a road straight down the front here, just to make it look as nice as we can. There we go. And then I'll delete that corner off, which should give us the nice rounded corner at the front, which it does. Perfect. So just to confirm now that's all in. We are still on the station. You can see it is still highlighted. Just to make it all look a bit nicer and a bit more uniform, what I do want to do is upgrade all of these roads in this area, at least, just so they all look similar. Just gives it slightly better aesthetics. So now that's connected, if we hit the play button, just want to see that we still have the demand from this whole refinery for Withensea. It is still seen Withensea, so that means that it knows it can get fuel through this way. There's no other way that it could be transporting fuel up to Withensea. So it is still seen Withensea, and that means it is connected. So thanks again for that, Stephen. Stephen's YouTube channel, brilliant by the way, guys. He does a lot of Transport Fever 2 content. He does a lot of map editing as well, and some of his maps look absolutely incredible. I will drop his, a link to his channel in the description for this video, so make sure you check that out as well and give Stephen some support. Now, the main thing that I want to look at in this video is fixing this absolute cluster of boats that's going up and down the river. As you can see here on Driffield Port, we currently have almost 600 crude oil waiting to go all the way down the map, down to Goole Refinery here, and that's then being turned into plastics and into goods and getting into the system. But we also have crude oil ships coming down to the North Ferriby Oil Refinery. And I've been scratching my little brain for a little while and thinking, how can I address this? And then I sort of realised that we've got this refinery here that we're currently dropping oil off at. And we already have a train line in here that's bringing tools up. So I was thinking, if we change this train station so it's got more platforms, and we have a crude train, so we change the ships that are only bringing crude to this harbour, so only that short distance. Or we could even just change it into a trucking line, because we did in between episodes unlock the full HGV wagons. If I just show you quickly in here, you'll see we do now have these. They carry 30 at 62 mile an hour. So if we from this depot here just add trucks going down here through the country, a little bridge over the river, we could get rid of the ships altogether. And then from here we would have trains going down here onto this main line all the way around. We'd have one stop here, and then maybe shipping, or maybe we leave the ship route in for these guys, so we've still got a little bit of boat action. But then the train would carry on all the way down, and we'll have another station here for Goole. So that's what I'm going to look at the minute. I think for today's episode we'll get the Goole line set up. If you guys think it's a good idea to then create another train station off or another, at least stop on the same route with some wagons coming across a bridge here, let me know, because then we can bring all of this all of this oil, sorry, once it's been turned into oil, back on the train line, all the way up to the fuel refinery here, which is supplying Selby down at the south now via aircraft. But it's also supplying the local town of Driffield. So I think that's going to be a good idea in the end. It's just whether we do it for both of them or one. But I'll put the one in for today and we'll have a look. So I want to pause it again before we disrupt absolutely anything. Now, if I remember rightly, which it looks like I have, we put in a small station here originally because we were only bringing a few tools in. So I want to delete this all back. And then I think we're going to start off by having a new station. Now, we'll go for the high-speed track here. And I think we'll go for a 240 station with 2 platforms. I don't want catenary at the minute because we're going onto that main line that's currently got the Flying Scotsmans on. I don't want to start bringing electric up behind it. It won't be too long, I don't think, until our hand is forced and we do have to start bringing electric trains onto the line. I mean, I'm not completely opposed to it. There's some incredible ones, especially as you get into the later and later years. There's some really good ones. Now you see with that connection, we are keeping up the maximum 186 speed. And shortly after the station here, we want to put that branch in. Make sure we don't forget the signal for the incoming trains. Now we will be using this platform on the left, and actually, I've just made myself think, as we're saying that, we'll actually be using both platforms here because we still have the tall trains coming in. I nearly set it up for just the one line there. And of course, it's not going to like us putting the X in. I think it's anytime you find that you have a slight curve on the track, it really doesn't like these X's. But either way, I think if we can get them in just before, it's either coming into or going out of the station, so the speed's not too much of a concern here. So we will have one here, and we'll have one just there. The train's exiting this line onto that one, and I think that'll do us there. And then in this group here, this gap here even, I will put another set just to keep things flowing away from this junction. So with that being said, we now have the ability to send trains all the way down to here. Now, do we alter this line now so it goes past the station and doesn't stop here? I think that's probably a wise idea. We'll get rid of this road crossover for now and put that back in after it. Get rid of these 2 signals and a bit of track, evidently. Put that back in before I do absolutely forget to replace that. The last thing I want to be doing is breaking existing things that are already working. And then I think it's going to be better for us to go... Oh, we've autosave. Thought the game might have crashed then. These autosaves seem to be taking a little bit longer recently. It also seems to be running generally a little bit slower, the game. I don't know how much longer my system will be able to manage it, to be honest with you. I don't have the best PC in the world. Works for me, but when I'm trying to do something with a lot of vehicles roaming around, it can be an issue when I'm trying to record at the same time. Now, from here, we want to come zip straight past this station. And then here, we can go in so we can rejoin the main line. We want to come off here. It's saying the 75 mph top speed because the main line's still using old track, which is still 75 mph. Might be a better place for us to pull off of this track. It'll let us somewhere. We'll go to there. And we'll pull that one out as well. I want to make sure we've got a relatively okay curve around here. That seems fine. I can neaten this up a little bit if needs be afterwards. We need to make sure we've got our signals either side of these branches. Coming this way, they'll branch straight off, so we don't need a signal there. They're coming on and disrupting the line, so we will need a signal. And I believe, yeah, that should be fine for us. And then we're going to be coming along here. We will occasionally from time to time get stuck behind the tools train that's here, but that's something we will just have to accept. And then coming out, I want to keep the speed just in case we're not behind the tools train. I mean, the tools train does tend to sit at the station at the other end waiting to be filled for quite a while, to be honest with you, so I don't think it'll be too much of an issue. We won't be behind it all that often, hopefully. So where it gets relatively straight here now, do we bypass this station as well? I think we've kind of got to, I think. Otherwise, it's going to affect us too much on the way down. From here, I want to continue this smoothish curve. There we go. And get these guys connected up. I can come round and put the signals in once we finish laying the track. And then we need to go around this station, so what I'll do is put another 2 pieces of track this side. Branch out a little bit just to here. I want to try and keep that flat if we can. Or do we want to keep that flat? I mean, we need to keep it pretty level to get back in around here. If I connect that in, what does that do? Yeah, that's not too offensive, is it? And it's keeping up full speed. I'll go over it with the smoothing tool a little bit after and make sure it looks quite neat and tidy. Or I'll tell you what, I'll do that now, otherwise I'm bound to forget that. There we go, that already looks 10 times better. So then coming from here, how far have we got down to Goole now? I think if we pull off for Goole before this station, it'll save us any major headaches there, and I think we need to find a nice flat piece of track, which is probably going to be right where these signals are. So we will have to delete the signals. It doesn't like bringing branch offs off the track anywhere near signals, so I would recommend if you need to make a branch off the track anywhere where there is some signals already, just delete the signals and go for it again after. So then coming along here, we'll have one before, and the signal can be replaced that we deleted on that side just there. That will enable us to keep things flowing. Why have I just done that? I'm thinking we're coming down the same track here, aren't we? I have had an absolute idiot moment there. All we need to do for this one, I'll tell you what, we could use it, but no, we'll just go around it. I was thinking we could sort of snake onto it and then off of it, but it doesn't really make a lot of sense, does it, that? I'm thinking maybe do we put a nice tunnel going underneath the track here? So if we were coming around, say, to roughly here, we have our 2 tracks coming in here. If we pull off here, just to the right a little bit, I want to keep speed up. And if you hold shift while you're doing this, guys, you can go up and down with your mouse forward and backwards. But what you can also do is when you're moving the track left and right, it doesn't snap to the track. As you see, if I take my hand off, it will snap there. But you can get those little increments in between. So if I go there and I tell it to start coming down very slightly, and we'll mirror that with the track next to it. All I want to do is I want to get it until it just breaks into a tunnel, which is there. And then from that point then I want to level the track out perfectly level. And just switch underneath here. Bring the other track around to almost there. And then from here then we want to get the speed up again. But start coming up bank. And he's already up and out of that tunnel, you see. And then what we'll do is over here somewhere, we'll put for now just an example piece of track in. Oh wow, it really doesn't like that, does it? So if we pull this guy back a little bit, just down into the tunnel, we tell it to match up there. I really don't like that, but is that just the terrain around here, is it? I was sort of hoping for a much nicer curve in, but it's not going to give it to me. Tell you what we'll do to try and force its hand. I'll actually start with the station this end now. See where we want to put it. So I want to get it close enough so that we don't need... Oh, there we go, it went perfectly. Close enough so that we don't need any trucks or anything, which will be fine. That is definitely connected, yes it is. So then coming out of the station now, we want to head in that general direction. Actually, yeah, I'm saying that and not doing it at the same time somehow. We do want a straight piece so that we can get the crossover in on the way out of the station there. And then from there, we want to head in the general direction, but keeping the pace. So we want to head to about there. And I believe I have, looking at it from this way, the left-hand track. If I was to get that straight in, how offensive would that be? That's much smoother than what it was trying to give us before, isn't it? So we'll take that. And for this guy, I need to hope he's going to come along and connect in, which that has connected. And before we forget at this end, we'll put the signal just before the switch. Another one here. I'll have a set at the tunnel entrance. Set at this tunnel entrance. We'll put one up here for now, and then we'll continue the track. So if we drag this all the way along now in big sways, it should let us do quite a bit at a time now as well. To make sure we're signalling this as we go along. It's up to you. Some people prefer to come along at the end and do all the signalling, and a lot of times I do. I sort of chop and change between what I like to do. I'm tempted to put these ones here just so that they're in line with these old school ones. I mean, eventually we're going to have to go around and change all of those old signals because we're going to be updating the main line. And it will just look wrong if we've got all old signalling on high-speed track with electric trains. Going round this corner here, we'll have one. We need to make sure we've got one before this station. We've got one before that station already, and before the switch for the tools train. We'll keep an eye on this, because we may need to put a bypass line in for this station, depending on how much this train starts to affect us. And then everything else on the way up here, I was about to say should be done, but of course it isn't, because we've altered all the track. Okay, so that looks like that's pretty good, other than this fair distance between those signals compared to the rest, so we'll add one in there. So that's connected. But it isn't connected to the harbour here. We need to make sure it is. If I can run a straight line down here, make that loop relatively straight, there we go, and line that up so it's nice and straight. There we go, and lob the end off so it gives us the nice bend as usual. And then now if I click on this station, has that removed? Ah, that station's no longer connected now. Okay, it's a good job we checked that again. Yeah, by removing that small piece of road, it actually removed the connection to the station. So what I may actually have to do here is just redo this corner. Bring this guy through as close as we can. It's connected to everything here, as you can see. And then if we drag this guy all the way up, I don't like that corner though. And we'll go again from the corner. You can see that it is still connecting to the station there. That's now give us a funky road here, of course. We can't get the how was that connected before to both of them? We put a slightly wider road in there. That sort of ruins what we're after though, doesn't it? Let's see. There must be a perfect pinch point here that just does both of these. Because it was working before. Or actually it didn't before, did it? It did have a little spout off, I believe. So we'll put that back in. There we go. There we go. So everything looks like it's now connected. The train station is now connected to here. Okay, so we need now, for this to work, we need the ships to live in the crude here, and we need a train to go all the way down and back up. So, one thing at a time. We get the train set up first, so we know we've definitely got the ability to carry it. Now, what do we go for here? I don't want electric. We need something with a good amount. It's either going to be this BR217. The no-hab, its maximum speed 75 anyway. This one has a lot more power and it can just exploit that faster track. So we'll go for the BR218. We'll go for cargo. We've now got the faster wagons can only go 75 anyway. Maybe worth just having no-habs here, guys. I think it is. We'll get the no-hab back. Simply because this tank car can only go at 75 mile an hour anyway. And then I think we're going to go 165. I'll tell you what, if I push it to 200, we'll see that. We might have to upgrade these to those other trains. What were they called? To the BR218s. We might have to do that. Now I'm going to need a few of these. I'm going to start with 4. And on this line now, we need to be coming into here. We need to be waiting for a full load here. We need to make sure we're maxing this out. And then from Hutton Cranswick transfer, all it needs to do is go all the way down to the bottom here at Broomfield. And I want to make sure that at Hutton Cranswick, all it is doing is loading crude. And then down at Broomfleet here, it needs to load oil. And it needs to unload crude. And this is going to be, RF for rail freight. And are we going to name it from the top? I suppose it starts. Realistically, the line starts at the top up here, doesn't it? So it's Driffield, I would say. So we'll name that. It's going to be RF Driffield crude oil. Crude to oil. We don't need to put line, that'll be fine. Okay. So that, I could have sworn I'd told that to have 3 vehicles. Okay. Unless I've just put some extra trains on somewhere completely random here. Let me just watch these come out here and make sure that there is only the 3 I was thinking of. They're all on the Driffield crude, yeah. But at the minute, that's not actually going to be making us any money. So what I need to do is change the shipping route. The Driffield crude will go from Driffield and it'll now go straight across the river here. It won't go to Goole anymore. What's it doing at Goole? It's just unloading everything, which is exactly what we want it to do on this end. We want it to load crude and unload it over there. Now, obviously, we are not going to need this many vehicles now. So I think we could probably take that down to probably 3 ships. We sell all of those. Now the question is, where are the 3 remaining ships? So one's on its way back there, that's ship number 16. Ship number 15 is also on its way back up. Ship number 18 is all the way here, okay. And what I want to make sure is, this can now deliver it. These oil wells should have a consumer, which they still have the Goole refinery, so they can still see it, which means it can see its way all the way through the route. So that's perfect. That should all be set up now and working. And what should happen is, these trains should now bring the oil back. It'll be turned into fuel here, and then it'll be split between the airfield here and the vans that are currently taken into Driffield. But the tool line, ideally, I'm going to reverse that now, because what I want is for the lines, and I can do it through the station actually, I want the terminals to be, do I want them to be the other way around? Does it really matter? It doesn't really matter, I suppose, does it? As long as they've each got the separate terminal, that'll do me. But he's getting on his jollies anyway. You can see at the minute, guys, that these aeroplanes, I actually upgraded them because they were stocking up. The other end of the line is absolutely chock-a-block with tools. I had to upgrade the aircraft so that they could carry the right amount of tools back up here. But they're actually being stopped now because of the lack of fuel coming in. So So I think for now I'm going to manage this line. And it's been told at the minute at Driftfield to wait for full. So I'm just going to put load if available, just to keep those tools, the tool supply still coming in, because they're actually running out of tools in Driftfield here. And as long as we're full one way, we should make money. As soon as the crude starts getting delivered through here, as soon as those first ships get back, we should start making money. Now this guy's heading for the Driftfield, and I thought I'd clicked on the ship going the other way then. They say, why is he not getting any fuel? I just saw that tick up, and you can see the amount of fuel's getting dangerous up on this end. We might need to put a couple of the other ships. Which makes me think, actually, we did have an upgrade. So those Driftfield crude ships, as well as just having the 3 now, I think I'm going to alter those. We got a new one, which is this XL tanker. Now, it is a little bit, at the moment, we have these Violas that carry 240. Now, these are a little bit slower. They're 2 miles an hour slower, but they carry 100 more. And because we're only going to be crossing this short distance over the river, I think it's a good idea for us to have the slower ones on this route, and we'll leave the bigger ones. We'll leave the others on the Driftfield run that are going all the way. And we'll see how that goes, because if this maxes out fuel here, then this Driftfield one at the minute is bringing oil back to this refinery. So we may be able to just completely get rid of this line. If you see, it's going from Driftfield here, where it's taking the crude all the way down to North Ferriby, and then it's bringing it all the way back. But at the moment, the Gould oil refinery, it was maximum production with the ships that were going. Now this at the minute, until it beds in, is obviously going to cause us problems, because that's just going to absolutely stop plastic production, because we're getting no oil down here. But it's also going to stop the goods production, because they're out of plastic, which means it's going to have a knock-on effect with this road line coming up. We're going to have a backlog of steel, and it will cause problems, which hopefully will settle themselves once this line comes back into fruition. I just want to see this working now. I'm going to put a little cut in here, guys, just so we can wait for their first ships to come back. But this guy should come into the port now. He's got loads of fuel waiting for him. He can hold, I believe it's 350, is it? It is 350. He's going to drop it off straight into here. And it's going to absolutely ramp up the production in that fuel refinery. And it should even level it up using the 3 ships. Once they all get to this end of the line and they're all delivering, we may need to upgrade the wagons here, and maybe the wagons on here. I mean, you can see we've got 232 waiting. I think straight away. How many of these guys hold? 13. Because we now have these, I tell you what, we'll get rid of 3. Absolute guess at the amount. And then we'll go for these tanker wagons. Mainly so we can have a quick look at them. HGVs. They are pretty cool. I do need to have a look for some mods with some branded kit as well. Some of the mods that I've seen on the workshop do look pretty good. You can have sort of the BP and Shell wagons driving around. They look pretty cool. Just to give it a bit more flavour. These guys going slow as well because of the road. I believe they're limited to 37 here. I think they can go faster than that. What's the top speed on these guys? Does it tell me? It should do, I believe. Top speed 62, yes. So we want to come through and upgrade this road and absolutely make sure that we are making the most of that top speed. Saying that, yeah, they can go up to 50 on this single track road. There we go, you can see straight away the speeding up. Now, I'm also gonna get rid of this unnecessary kink in the road here. Although not perfect, I think that will be a lot quicker than as is. So what would be even better actually if we redesign this junction completely. Oh, we don't need to pull off of it like that. Oh, and that is actually still connected. I was going to put a branch line off here, but because that's still connected, we'll leave that. I mean, we're not using the stone at the moment anyway. We could even speed up that, but I think for now we've made enough change that should improve the throughput there drastically anyway. That brings us in good timing for the first ship arriving here, guys, as well. Another 66 tools coming in. Right, the wagon here is just taking the last bit of fuel that arrived. We are just waiting for that full load here now. Are we stacking up trains and affecting the tools line now? That might be the only issue. We are 123 tools, but this guy's already always waiting anyway, so I'll give him a couple of runs at it once this first shipment arrives. These carry 350. But we have got to wait for the train to come all the way back. I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to send this one on his way. He can't make it. Why can he not make that junction? What's he saying to me? Mutually blocked. Train 31, train 27. Why are we blocked, guys? Are you trying to use that other lane? You are. Why are you trying to use that lane? Right, pause. That means that somewhere along here we have an issue. And we are not connected in somewhere, I think. That's coming along. We're connected through here. I'll tell you what will definitely tell me if we're blocked or not. If I put a waypoint on our track here, and I tell these trains that after the Hutton-Cranswick transfer, I want you to go through this waypoint. That'll fix that, and there are now no warnings. I just want to make sure that all the way down here it is using both sides of the track, which it looks to be, and it is all the way down back into the station. So yeah, I don't know what caused that then, actually, guys. I don't know why it was just choosing to go on the other side of the track for whatever reason. Must have been slightly faster, I suppose, but the waypoint sorted it out. There we go, we've got our tools train on the way back out. We've got some fuel that's coming back through the Driffield line, still waiting for the aircraft, so we've not completely sold Selby out of fuel down at the bottom end yet. This Ghoul ship's now arrived. That should fill its boots and get straight off again. Just in time for the next ship to come in for 350. But looks like it may have actually already dropped a little piece off. Yeah, that's the only issue we're going to have now, is we've got the Driffield ships and the ship from here both stopping at the same dock. So we may need to add in fact, I am absolutely going to do that. I'm going to add another cargo dock, a large one, on this end with a large landing. Then I am going to tell number 2, Driffield, to go on number 2. So that'll just tell everybody coming downriver to stop at this first one. Should hopefully work a lot better. This guy's now only got 172 crude going back the other way. Which, if I tell these Driffield line at Driffield port to make sure you're waiting for a full load, I don't know why that wasn't already the case. It might mean we can start to get rid of a few of these boats. As you can already see here, guys, we've already got this 350 coming back. We may be able to already get rid of one of these ships as well. If this guy coming back has to wait, which he absolutely is going to have to, we'll get rid of one of these. And I'll keep an eye on this, but thanks a lot for joining me again, guys. That's today's episode. I hope you can appreciate that. Should be a pretty big change. I think we can already see the fuel getting delivered here. We can see that Selby is requesting supply from this fuel refinery now. And also, its supplier, it's not actually gone to Ghoul yet. But it should do as soon as that first train takes some fuel down. Which I believe he's already on his way. He's here. So he's got a full load of 210. All the way down at the Ghoul refinery, it is showing the consumer is the Driffield fuel refinery. That's now starting to crank up because it's realised that it can send it to there. Which hopefully means that this guy's now got Selby. He has. So everything now is ticking over. Fuel will start getting delivered in. There's another 210 crude oil going out. As you can see, that's gone out and there's already another 219 here. So we are already, I believe, if we look for where the trains are, this one here is train 27. 31 is only just on its way back now. He's already got a little bit of oil coming in. 5 oil on that one. That's just made the line itself start working. And we've got suppliers, Asgool, consumers, Selby, and that you can see it's just going to keep ramping up here. Because now we're taking all that crude down, that's going to keep ramping, and then in the next episode we'll have another check on that and make sure it's all working and everything's fine. And that is the end of the episode, guys. As always, if you made it this far, please give it a like for me, and if you haven't done already, please click the subscribe button to help me out. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.